If so much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rain beside the white chickens, can it also depend upon a green wheelbarrow beside the black horses?
That's a great question, Julia Block. Eric, would you like to come up and hang out with this? When I hear a difficult question, I think, gee, it would be good if Eric could join us.
So the question is, how's
would
the
it work
poem
if it was a green
different
wheelbarrow and it was a black horse? Yeah.
Would it work?
Would so much depend upon that?
I think a lot depends on.
You can tell she's a good teacher.
A lot depends on that that green wheelbarrow and the black chickens.
No, black horse.
Black horse. So I think of that poem as kind of a nod towards documentary. So I think about the poem as describing what depends on what we see. So if the question is, if we switch around Mad Lib style the words in the poem, does it still matter in the same way? I would say yes, but you have to take it seriously, because then you have to, instead of doing a close reading of red, you get to do a close reading of green, and instead of doing a close reading of chickens, you get to do one of horse.
Would that poem be as powerfully influential if we could discern any humor, irony? It seems like an unironic, sincere view or observation. If it were ironic, it probably wouldn't be as important, would it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he'd be saying that so much doesn't depend on such crappy little scene.
Yeah, the poem is about precision, so it seems to me that if you switch some words for others, it's still just as precise.
Yeah. Hey, Joy?
Yes?
Yeah, what did you think of that? Does that make sense?
Well, it's very mysterious how poets choose their words.
Yes.
Because that poem is only one sentence. And
yeah.
I just wondered what made that sentence different from all the other sentences we speak in daily life.
Yes.
And did it depend upon the red and the white?
Great, Joy. Thank you for those questions. Also for your get-together and tolerating my F-bomb so early in the morning.
Oh, no problem.
So good that you're with us with ModPo, and it's great. Thanks for calling. And I realize it's early out there too, so have a good morning. We're going to respond to this last question, but we'll take it after you hang up, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you, Joy. Have a great day. 215-573-9752. Eric, that last point, I mean, it seems to me, come up right close to the mic, it seems to me that there's something essentially and fabulously and beautifully arbitrary about the choice, but not arbitrary if you believe that Williams saw this thing. So what's arbitrary is that nature or happenstance or God put in front of him a red wheelbarrow plus anything else and these chickens, and that so much depends upon that happenstance, so much depends upon that arbitrariness. That doesn't mean it's any less determined somehow. How do you deal with that paradox?
I think we could imagine a poem that was very similar, where, let's say we were going to describe an image from Bruegel's The Fall of Icarus, and the poet is...
A painting.
Yes, this
17th century, do you think? Peter Bruegel?
That's right, Bruegel the Elder, and there's several important poems written about that painting, including one by William
Carlos Williams, late in his life.
So let's just do a thought experiment for a moment. Let's have a poet who writes a similar poem describing a physical action that's in that poem, and this poem is embedded in many layers into the Western tradition. And he would say something like, so much depends upon an action in that painting which will be changed because of the fall of Icarus. This person's life is utterly changed, and it relates to a myth, and we have several poems about it, and the reason why it matters is because this is a very important moment in Western culture. So the words might be the same, but the reference suddenly becomes about the fact that you're entering into the Western culture, and you're going to try to shift it just a little bit. So here we have Williams not necessarily doing that, registering something about his own perception, registering something about all of our perceptions if we really grasp the moment and are present in the moment.
Focus and
that's right.
Our intent.
So it's really the poet's perception that brings all the life together, like the life of the chicken, the life of the place in which it happens, and we bring our attention to the poet's attention, and suddenly we revivify this scene, which isn't necessarily part of the great Western tradition until it becomes so by our putting it there.
Yeah, well put.